More fun on this 2000 Peterbilt. I'm gonna have to send this one to my boss. Is the main reason I'm recording it, because I'm fed up with people doing stuff wrong and I have to do the rework. This is an air brake chamber to control actuation of the shoes using an S-cam. This shaft has a S-shaped cam on the other end of it that pushes the shoes outwards while springs hold them inwards. There's a slack adjuster here. The little bolt head is over here to adjust it with a 7/16 socket and a ratchet. When it's so close right here, you've got to use a wrench instead. But the air is released, so the spring brake over in here is currently applied against this rod to hold the brakes tight. They're not, because the pins are out. Everything's not adjusted yet. Okay, so this little slot right here, these holes are slotted with 2 notches to go in, down lower or up high. Well, when somebody was paid to replace these carriers, these tubes that the S-cam goes in, which didn't need to be replaced, only 2 of them did, because they had broke over here and had to be welded. I did a video, I believe, showing where I had to weld one of them myself because I found it on the weekend doing a PM like I did yesterday. I finished that at like midnight that night finally. These were replaced, and apparently they didn't pay enough attention to where the brake chambers had previously been positioned. Damn, there's shit on the floor. Get out of the way, hammer. Alright, see if I can move this creeper where I'm mashed underneath the axle here. Okay, these bolts, I can't even see what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, it's in there. Those bolts, they had them mounted down low. Well, this chamber that I've been carrying in the truck for a spare, first, the rod didn't have enough threads hardly. Thankfully, there was enough threads left. I cut it, but I cut it longer than necessary, just in case. Is this gonna burn me? No, that ain't gonna burn me. So I had to go underneath the truck with the grinder again, cut off some more. I got it crooked, so I had to cut off a little bit more to get it straight, so that all this nut here, this nut, and a nut that goes inside this thing on these old crummy gunite slack adjusters that are a royal pain to work with, royal pain to adjust. Supposedly they're better than the original equipment. I think they're a little cheaper. I can't stand them anymore. They're a nuisance. They're damn difficult to adjust and work on. Okay. So this had, I was afraid there wasn't going to be enough thread, but it came out okay. I've got about a 1/4 inch thread sticking here where my finger is, out past the inside of this, and the actual nut is up further in here a little bit. If I left too much rod sticking out, this slack adjuster would hit it when the pin is in. These 2 nuts will still have to be adjusted after this other stuff is. But I've got to try to get that darn pin in there. I didn't want to have to sit with a little combination wrench and fight like heck to turn this a little bit. So the park brake is reset at this moment. See if I can get it lined up. That's kind of beside the point. The point is that all 4 brake chambers were mounted on these mounts in the wrong stinking position. So at this time, if I left it where it was, this rod was way down here below the slack adjuster. I'd have had to try to force it up here where it doesn't belong. Now I'm going to have to double check this Put a couple pins in temporarily, and they got goofy little snap locks there. Oh, they're so much easier to install than ones that use cotter pins. You don't have cotter pins breaking. But guess what? When you pull this through one notch, then it catches on the next metal. And you get through that one, it catches on the next metal. So you have to be able, when you push it in with a tool, jerk it all the way out at once. And there it flew. Dropped it. Okay. So, hello, cat. Sneaking around here trying to steal food from the old grandma cat. Okay, now that is currently wrong, of course, because brake set. So I'm going to have to get those lined up. Then recheck with this tool because it's supposed to be one of those holes lined up there. But I couldn't attach it because it was way down here, below it. So I think I'm going to have to take all this stuff apart on all four of these to correct somebody else's screw up. Because they simply didn't pay attention. Maybe they got it right and something's just different in this chamber. I don't believe that. Not one darn bit. I've already had to go double check this one earlier. But as I stated, currently park brake is set, so this isn't gonna be correct. That's how it's supposed to work on there. And you put it here and all this. That's to tell you what length to cut this rod off, because they come nice and long so they can be used on a trailer or whatever with these type 30-30 brake chambers. But thankfully there was enough threads. It sure didn't look like it. So I've got past that point. I think I've got the rod cut short enough, but not overly short, so I got adjustment left. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to take these pins out, the snap ring off up there. Get out of my way. These loose before taking the pins out. Quite possibly, maybe not. I'll at least take them loose because you can't hardly get it loose if you're not on something. Crank, crank, crank on this stupid slack adjuster to get it out of the way with air applied to the brake chamber to draw the rod inwards so I don't have to fight it as much. Get that out of the way, and I could use a wrench and take this off with a wrench and move that, or I can completely move that slack adjuster and use the impact with an extension to zap it out of there. I'm hoping I don't have to do any of it because there are 4 total. So yeah, much fun. I'm just, you might want to go back and see the nice Sunday school message from Emergency Management Associates Ron Tyler this morning. I listened while I was working, and I'm glad that helped me because by now I've busted my head and my knuckles with anger over this stupidity.